Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of the multiplayer for Warhammer 2. This is going to be a four-person free-for-all. With the addition of the Mortal Empires, they've actually added a whole bunch of free-for-all maps, which I did not realize until tonight. So I'm probably going to be bringing some more free-for-all here soon. I've been focusing a lot on the High Elf campaign, but I've been getting that multiplayer itch, especially to go back and play all the races that I haven't touched for a while, like Bretonnia. So I'm going to be bringing Bretonnia, facing off against the Greenskins, Warriors of Chaos, and Dwarves. So no real Total War Warhammer 2 representation here, just a bunch of the old races. And yeah, there's some shenanigans coming over there. So for Bretonnia, I brought kind of like a Skaven build where you have a lot of infantry and then some kind of key units. That's kind of how I think about them, but they're human and not Skaven and not rat. Anyway, so we have four of the peasant mobs, which are the super cheap, expendable, basically like Skaven clan rat or Skaven slave rats. They're kind of similar to those. High in number, they are expendable. They also have the actual expendable trait, which means that people do not have any issues with them routing except for themselves and other peasant mobs. So I have four of them, two on this flank, two on that flank. My main line is made up of the shielded version of the Men-at-Arms. So these are the not the cheapest, but like the next up infantry for the Bretonnians. The cheapest one is going to be the unshielded version, which is 100 cheaper, but I wanted to have shields just in case we needed to block some, I don't know, dwarven arrows or something. But anyway, stat-wise, they are not that bad for the price that you get for them. They have similar stats to a Men-at-Arms of the Empire, but they do have lower melee attack and I think lower weapon strength. But again, they are super cheap, and I have four of them here in the front line, backed up by those two peasant mobs. Behind them, we have the most elite infantry unit that I brought, and that's just one group of the Men-at-Arms, which are 550. They are an anti-armor, anti-large halberd infantry, and they used to be way back. They used to be like overpowered and so good. Now they're still like okay. But I don't know, I brought one of them just in case I needed help against large armored targets. So we have one Men-at-Arms with pole arms. Then behind those, we have three of the peasant bowmen with the fire arrows. These are the highest missile damage units that the Bretonnians have. I'm thinking about that. I don't think their range cav is higher. But this is going to be fire damage, and you can see that they also have the expendable trait. So if your peasant bowmen do rout, that is, I mean, it's not great, but at least you're not going to be suffering morale penalties if they rout, like with your other units, like these Men-at-Arms and stuff. So you have three of those, and with three of them at 25 missile damage per, they can deal a lot of focused fire damage. They don't really have much armor piercing, but still 25 base missile damage is a lot. The remaining units on the ground, we are bringing two cav units, two Knights of the Realm. These are kind of the mid-tier cav units of Bretonnia. Their main focus is an anti-large bonus. They are decent shot cav with pretty high armor. In fact, I think their armor got increased by 10 from the last game to this one. I think they were rolling with 80. And I think like all Bretonnian Knights went up to 90 armor instead of 80. So that's a very small buff, but hey, a buff is a buff. So that's pretty good. They also have really high leadership right now, and I think they have always been a good mid-tier shot cav with a nice bonus of anti-large of 10. I was going to say 30. That's 10. I am way off. Don't listen to me. It's been a while since I played Bretonnia. Then up in the air is going to be our kind of elite core. We have a group of the Royal Hippogriff Knights, which I believe the Blessings of the Lady has been added to the Royal Hippogriff Knights between Total War Warhammer 1 and 2. So now they also have the 20% physical resistance. I believe that is new. But if the leadership breaks, it is gone for good, even if they come back. Besides that, they have Fear and Terror, and they have decent melee stats. They have huge weapon strength and huge AoE potential because they move around a lot. They're like other big monstrous creatures. They can disrupt infantry really well, deal a lot of damage. They're very fast. They have high leadership. So they just got a general buff, and I think it's nice. It's better, at least. At the very least. I haven't tested them thoroughly, but they seem to be okay. Also, by the way, we have a Damsel of the Heavens. My bad, I forgot to mention her. Down here on a horse, and the spells I took was Wind Blast, which if you upgrade it for, I think it's 11 mana cost, it does a lot of armor piercing damage. And then I also brought the Harmonic Convergence, basically just to try and assist, in most cases, our Hippogriff Knights, because they are still kind of squishy for a unit that costs 2,000, and I don't have any healing with the Heavens, but I definitely wanted that wind spell, so I brought Harmonic Convergence to try and balance things out by giving them a little more melee defense. So yeah, I brought a Damsel of the Heavens. Then while over here we have the glorious leader, King Lewin Leon Kerr. This is not him on Beaquist. So Beaquist got changed a little bit. It is 300 more than a normal Hippogriff, and the stat changes are you get, I think, 300 hit points. You get 10 melee defense, 10 weapon strength, and 4 melee attack, I think is what it is. For 300 additional cost, I do not think that cost is worth it. and so I did not bring it in this battle. So this is a normal Hippogriff on, or that Lewin is riding and not Beaquist. I'll try Beaquist later maybe, but a 300 increased cost over the normal Hippogriff is just, it's a bit much considering the stat changes that you get. I'm sure it's great, I guess, if you have the money. But anyway, so yeah, King Lewin in all of his glory. We have the Ladies Champion, which is his regeneration that he can have until his leadership is broken. He comes with Blessing of the Ladies, so he has 20% additional physical resistance on top of his 80 armor. Weird, he wasn't upgraded to 90 armor like all the knights were. Interesting. Are these the same too? Okay, so maybe the flying knights did not get upgraded. It's just the land knights. Yeah, because all of these are 80. So maybe it was all the land-based knights that got upgraded just to 90. Okay, well anyway, King Lewin is still a beast. He is one of the best lords in the game, especially when you put him on a Hippogriff. He is amazing. I also brought his abilities here. We have the Sword of Corone. So for 39 seconds, everything around him, lower melee defense and armor, so they just get destroyed really quickly. Lion Shield is a great ward save for 22 seconds. This can really help you mitigate missile damage if you're getting focused by a bunch of like Dwarven guns, or if you're getting hit by direct damage spells from like the Death, or Deathlore? Yeah, Deathlore. And, things like that. So it's a really good ability to have when you need it. Also comes with Stand Your Ground. I already talked about the Ladies Champion. But yeah, he is still just a brute in the air. He is amazing. King Lewin is one of the best heroes in the game. And then behind him, the Royal Pegasus Knights, which I always like to bring when I bring Lewin or any kind of flying lord. They are just also really good in the air. They have the Blessing of the Lady. They are immune to psychology. You can Vanguard deploy these. They have tons of damage against specifically anti-large. They are a great sniping unit. You tie them with King Lewin and you just snipe large creatures and they can deal just so much damage on the charge. If they stay in combat though, you need to be careful because they have very low melee defense and their armor is not super amazing, so they can get killed pretty quickly. These are, hit and run type units, just kind of like what the Hippogriffs are kind of like. Anyway, so that is the Bretonnian army that I brought. I know that was a lot of talking for them. Let's get on to the other armies. For the Greenskins, this is a very unique army. We have 3 Goblin Wolf Riders up here, including the Moon Howlers. I think this person took almost like every renowned unit that the Orcs or the Greenskins have. Also, very weird, some armies don't have their renowned units in the Mortal Empires update, like Bretonnia. I had no access to any kind of renowned units whatsoever, but the Greenskins have them, the Dwarves have them. I don't think Warriors of Chaos have their renowned units. It's really, really weird. I don't know, is that just me? Like, anyway, really weird. But anyway, we got the Moon Howlers over here to join the other 2 Goblin Wolf Riders. Way back in here is the bulk of their force, which is going to be a Durkic Squigs. Again, this is the renowned Squig group, which the Squigs have actually been changed. Squigs now deal armor-piercing damage, so that's a cool change. Your all-Gobbo army supported by the Squigs now, these Squig Hoppers. It's nice. Because if you do an all-Gobbo army, like, their only real access to large would be like, or anti-armor would be if you brought like a troll, a giant, the Ragnarok spider, or nasty skulkers. But now you have an additional option if you want to bring an all-Gobbo army with the Squigs, because they've been changed to have a bigger focus on armor piercing. Anyway, we got the Turkish Squigs over there. Then we have the Teeth Robbers, the renowned chariot unit that I have shown disrespect for since they've been introduced to the game, and I will continue to do so right now. I do not like the Teeth Robbers. Then over here we have the renowned version of the Orc Boy Biggins, the Broken Tusk. They are pretty cool because they have an encouraging aura, so that adds additional leadership to any Greenskin unit around them, which leadership is something that the Greenskins kind of suffer in for a lot of their units, so it's nice that they have a unit that does that. But besides that, they're an anti-large armor piercing. They're a really good anti-cav. But then they themselves are kind of weak on the defense side. You can see only 26 melee defense, but they have decent armor, really good leadership, and I think they're still pretty good. Although I haven't checked their cost. I need to look at their cost again, because the thing is they had a cost increase towards the end of Total War Warhammer 1's life cycle, and that kind of made them less worth it, but I need to look at them again. The leadership over here is going to be Wurzag, bringing, I believe, all of his spells, including his special abilities, like Effigy of the Git. He is on the board. They brought both of his unique items with the Bonewood Staff and the Squiggly Beast? Yeah, Squiggly Beast. So I love Wurzag. Bring him on a board, I think, is a great idea. It gives him armor piercing and more mobility, so I think that's perfect. Then over here we have a Gobbo Death Squad here. 4 Goblin Big Bosses, all taking the Sword of Anti-Heroes, I think it's called. Yes. So this is going to buff up their damage temporarily for 36 seconds, so that's really good. And there's 4 of them. So the sniping potential of these 4 Gobbos is really high. That is so much damage sitting right there. Against like enemy casters and hell, even lords. So that's the bulk of their forces. The rest of their forces are back here engaging. Engaging against the Dwarf Vanguard forces here. So we have 1 Goblin Wolf Rider Archer. No, two. One of them is the Morgrim's Mangy Marauder. So this is the Renowned Wolf Rider Archer, the one that does armor-piercing damage. Over here we have the Death Creepers, which are the Vanguard deployed, fire while moving, stalking, poison damage, ranged, forest, goblin, spider riders. Their names are so long. So we got those over here. We have another Forest Goblin Spider Rider sitting right here next to 4 Forest Goblin Spider Riders, the non-Archer variants that were all Vanguard deployed back here on this little land bridge. There are 3 of these, one right here, one in the middle, and one on the other side of the map. And that will lead us to the Dwarf person who has Vanguard deployed, 2 Bugman Ranger, Normal Ranger, and a Ranger with great weapons over here that are going to be duking out with the Greenskins. Meanwhile, over here we have another Ranger, the Uthar's Raiders, the renowned version of the Great Weapon Raiders. They are pretty good and that enable you to do a lot of focus fire potential with their special ability that they come with, which is marked by Uthar. So you can see there for 28 seconds, minus 30 armor, less parry chance for missiles, and less missile resistance altogether. So you pop this on a unit, most likely a lord or something, and then you just destroy them. So they are pretty good for doing that. Besides that, the bulk of their force is going to lie in their cannon emplacement here. We have 1 cannon and then 2 organ guns. Then their melee is going to be a Grumbling Guard. They brought a lot of Renowndians in this game. Grumbling Guard. Up in the front, we have Hammers, the Scolder Guard, which are the renowned version of the Iron Drakes. These ones, I believe, are the ones that shoot the steam, I believe is what they do. Then behind those, we have a normal group of Longbeards. And then over here, we have the Warriors Dragonfire Pass, which is the renowned group of the Dwarf Warriors, which does fire damage and bonus versus infantry. They are being led by Grom Brindle, the White Dwarf, who is still an excellent melee attacker. Grom Brindle is a beast. Always has been and probably always will be. And that is the Dwarf army. Some Vanguard shenanigans over there and an odd setup over here. It looks like they wanted to try and shoot at me in the beginning based on how their cannons are placed. Then for the Warriors of Chaos, we have 3 Poison Chaos Warhounds. Vanguard, I think it's Vanguard deployed, right in front of the deployment zone. And then back here we have 3 Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Still a really good Chaos unit. I think it's still one of the best in the game. Although I think their melee defense was lessened, because I think it used to be 36 and 36. Or maybe it was 34 and 34. Either way, I think their melee defense has been changed. I'm not 100%, but it's pretty small in any case. So they have 3 of those. Then they have 2 of the Chosen with great weapons, which are 44, 44, which is huge melee stats, especially for a unit that can deal a lot of armor-piercing damage. The trade-off is, though, of course, that they have no immune to psychology, which I was really hoping that they would give them in Total War Warhammer 2. I don't understand why Chosen do not have immune to psychology. I think it is so bad that they don't. I think they should. I still think they should, and hopefully CA will listen to us one day. But besides that, I think their leadership did get buffed. They may not got immune to psychology, but I think their leadership was buffed by 5 or 10 or something like that. These are very high damage dealing units, but the thing is they are very, very slow, very, very expensive, so you really need to make sure you can utilize them properly and they don't get sniped by cannons or any kind of range fire, or else that's so much money down the drain. Then over here we have a group of Dragon Ogres, which also did receive a buff, though I can't remember what it was necessarily. Maybe more leadership and like melee stats, but they did get some kind of buff. There's a changelog list buried somewhere in a forum somewhere that I read briefly, but they did get upgraded or buffed, I guess. Then we also have Kolek Sun Eater, which is still a pretty powerful melee lord. You can see he has a bonus versus large of 28. I was going to say once again 30, but 28's near 30. This guy, kind of like King Llewellyn the Conqueror, he is so devastating, although he doesn't have wings. Oh my god, can you imagine if Kolek had wings? But he is still a force to be feared, and you need to be very careful around Kolek Sun Eater, trying to overwhelm him with numbers or with range fire that is preferably armor piercing, because if he gets to your lords in melee, he can crush, I think, almost any lord in melee. He is just a brute. And then to round out their army, they have a Sorcerer of Metal over here with the 3 spells, Final Transmutation of Lead, which is the melee attack and weapon damage debuff, and then also Plague of Rust, which is the armor debuff, and you can upgrade that for even more armor debuffing. The Skaven have a much better version of this spell now with their AoE debuff. This is just a single unit. So that is going to round out the Chaos Army. And once again, that was a lot of talking, but this is the first time we're seeing most of these factions here in Total War Warhammer 2. And now let's get to the actual battle. We'll start probably over here. So, Dwarves and Greenskins, Vanguard deployed right on top of each other. So these forces, they're going to briefly head towards my back line. I'm going to see them in about 20 seconds or so into the battle. Right now, I would have my camera like this, and I immediately see these 3 Goblin Wolf Riders in front of my army. So I'm like, okay, let's take them out. So we got King Llewellyn, Royal Pegasus Knights, and then the Hippogriff Knights are going to be coming over here. And then I noticed on the mini-map, I have units behind me, and that's when I was like, oh, what is going on over here? You can see the Forest Goblin Spider Riders having a bad day against the Rangers, Bugman's Rangers over here. And the Forest Goblin Spider Riders are going to get supported by the ranged units back here. But I'm going to be coming in behind, shooting them with some archer fire. We're going to be getting our Knights of the Realm back in here. And basically, I'm going to be moving my entire army back here and not trying to engage against this Greenskin force, because I don't need to. I see a lot of points sitting right here waiting to be taken, so I'm going to try and take them. Meanwhile, the Dwarven Artillery is going to be focusing over here to try and support the Bugman's Rangers. You can see they've already routed off one of the Forest Goblin Spider Riders. I think maybe even 2 of them at this point. For some reason, Chaos, this Poison Warhound is actually going to maneuver itself around and get over here as well. I'm not entirely sure. But Chaos is going to be marching up towards the Dwarves for the first part of this battle. You see, again, my army is going to be slowly kind of withdrawing back in here to this land bridge. We're going to send our Knights of the Realm who are coming around. There they are. They're going to be coming around like this. We have routed off, I believe, 2 of the 3 Goblin Wolf Riders out here. So now we're going to send our Flying Force over here as well to support. And there we go. We get the Damsel, try and pin these in place. And we're going to charge with the Knights of the Realm. And I'm trying to get the Damsel close enough so that we can summon a wind spell over here, because this is a lot of units and a lot of points potentially. Because again, free-for-all, it is a point game. You can see we're rounding off a lot of those Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, getting our second group of Knights of the Realm over here. We're going to try and charge them right into there, as the other one is chasing off some more Forest, Mage and Marauders, sorry. Then here comes the Damsel's upgraded wind spell. We're going to cast right in here. Meanwhile, the Flying Force is going to be flying across the river to try and head towards the cannon emplacement of the Dwarves. There goes the wind spell, and a lot of good damage there. I tried to withdraw our Knights of the Realm because I didn't want them to get hit by that wind spell, because that would be very bad for them. And again, we're just basically going to be slowly crossing this land bridge over to this side, because I don't want to go across the middle. And these forces are all going to be routing. So the Knights of the Realm and the Damsel are just going to be kind of slowly forcing their way across the land bridge, with the rest of my army following. The Vanguard force here is going to be, again, hitting the cannon and organ gun emplacement of the Dwarves, because most of their melee forces are chasing around the Dragon Ogres and Kolek. So I'm just going to go like, well, bloop, 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 bloop. And we're just going to try and take this force out, including their Uthar's Raiders, which is a huge unit to take out. We do not want their ability in this game to try and snipe our Lord and stuff. And since we are flying, we can afford to do this. We can afford to land down, because we can immediately pull out whenever we need to. Because that's kind of the bonuses of having a flying force, which is why I love Bretonnia. They're really good flying armies. So the Dwarves are going to come over here. They're going to try and pin us in place. Also, we're going to have some Chosen coming in as well. So we're doing the damage that we can. You can see we've almost destroyed the Uthar's Raiders, doing a lot of good damage to their organ guns back here in the cannon. And before the Dwarves or the Chaos Warriors can get here, we're just going to be like, well, that's fine. We've got our points. We did our damage. We're pulling out. They cast Final Transmutation on King Leon Leon Curse, so we're going to make sure that we split him off from the other force so that they don't hit our Hippogriff Knights or our Pegasus Knights. So we're going to try and mitigate the damage there. He can regenerate as well with one of his special abilities. And there we are, still pushing across the land bridge. We're going to eventually get all of our units over here and try and set up a defensive line right here with our archers protected back here. So we're going to get our men-at-arms, our peasant mobs here and here. We're getting our knights across over here as well. Going to land temporarily on this cannon crew, I believe, to try and finish them off. Meanwhile, over here, the Chaos Chosen are getting into a fight with the Hammers, with Grom Brindle, what's left of the Organ Gun crew, and the Grumbling Guard over there. So I cast an upgraded wind spell and just do massive amount of damage to almost everything in here. It's a great spell. Wind spell's got just the biggest buff in this game. Now that you can choose their direction, it's honestly insane. But here we're going to try and finish the Uthar's Raiders, because they propped out of, I think they have stalk, don't they? Yeah. So I think they were stalking here for a little while because I couldn't see them, and now that I saw them, so we're like, okay, let's pounce down. And then Warriors of Chaos are going to take this as an opportunity to try and kill my Royal Pegasus Knights with their Dragon Ogres, who also have a bonus versus large. So I'm going to be like, nope, and we're going to go bloop, 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 and we're going to be backing up out of that. Because I do not want to get charged by the Dragon Ogres. We want to be the ones doing the charging. Nice for the Gork over here to try and destroy some of the Chaos Warriors. Meanwhile, the rest of the Greenskins are still back here. They did some damage to the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal, who is over here now. You can see he's almost dead because the Goblin crew got on him. All 4 Goblin Big Bosses were trying to whittle him down, but now the Goblin Big Bosses have been withdrawn, I think, back to over here around Warzag, who's just kind of hanging out on the hilltop. Meanwhile, we dealt a huge amount of damage to those Dragon Ogres because we did the charge in with King Lewin, we charged in with the Royal Hippogriff Knights, and now we're going to be charging in on Kolek, who is being affected by the Sword of Corone with the Royal Pegasus Knights. As you can see here, we're still keeping our melee forces over here, we're still getting our archers over here, and our knights over here are now going to be charging into Kolek as well, now that he's under the effect of the Sword of Corone. So his armor is down to 70, and his melee defense is down to 25, so he's going to be taking a lot of hits now. Meanwhile, we're going to be leaving a peasant mob back here to try and absorb the fire of the ranged forces of the Greenskins, as we still get all of the men-at-arms over here. Getting a lot of nice damage here with the fire arrows of the Peasant Bowmen. We're not going to fire too much in there because it's going to be doing some friendly fire, so I'm actually going to be switching our focus to this clump of dwarves and chaos warriors here very soon. Kolik is going to be going around here and then coming over here to try and charge into my archers, and I'm going to respond by getting our flying force over here to try and pin them in place around right there. Meanwhile, the Chaos Warriors, I'm going to pin them in place right here with our Peasant Mob and our Men-at-Arms. I didn't want to be charged by 3 Chaos Warriors with great weapons, so we just managed to run interference with our melee forces, got our flying forces out of there, got our Knights of the Realm out of there because those are our important units, and we need them to snipe enemy leaders at this point. So you can see right here, this Metal Sorcerer is out of position, so we're going to charge him with King Lewan Leon Kerr and the Royal Pegasus Knights, and then we're just going to go fly back up in the air and get onto Kolek. There goes another foot of Gork from Warzag, who's just kind of hanging out up here, doing a lot of good massive damage to the Chaos Warriors. That did also manage to rout one of my Peasant Mobs, but that's okay because they're like 100 in cost. It's really nothing. Kolek trying to force their way past my Men-at-Arms, and I'm trying to chase him down with our flying squad that he's trying to get into these archers. I'm going to pull back my archers and pin him in place with our flying squad here. And that's going to basically spell the end of Kolek's Sun Eater. Meanwhile, over here, the Greenskins still have not really engaged yet. They still have the Brokatest Mob, they still have the Teep Robbers, they still have their Squigs, and their Goblin Death Squad back in the air. All they've really done is done some damage with Warzag's spells, so you can see they are in last place currently because of that. Still a Peasant Mob holding back these 2 units as we are now fully entrenched here at this side of the map. Running interference against these Chaos Warriors as we have to, keeping our flying units and our Knights of the Realm free to do charges. And just peppering any force that gets close with our Peasant Bowman of fire arrows. So you can see there, we have shattered Kolek Sun Eater with our Air Force. We're going to chase him off the map with the Royal Pegasus Knights. Meanwhile, King Lewan and the Royal Hippogriff Knights, I think are going to stay together at this point. And we're going to try to hit the Chaos Warriors, I think. Right now, I don't really want to charge these 2 units into this massive group of Brokatest Mob and 4 Goblin Big Bosses, because that is a huge amount of damage, so I just want to pepper them down with the 3 Peasant Bowmen with fire arrows. So you can see them focusing into this hero group. We're going to pin them in place with our Peasant Mob to make sure they can't escape. I think I also throw in our Men-at-Arms. Yeah, they're already fighting against a Brokatest Mob, as our flying squad is going to go on Warzag here, I think. And then right as we go on Warzag, this player leaves the game. So all of their units are going to rout at this point. They are going to shatter because they have left the game. And so now my Knights of the Realm are going to go over here against Chaos Warriors, against what remains of the Dwarf Warriors. My other, where is my other Knights of the Realm? I think they're buried in here somewhere. Maybe? Somewhere in there. But now you can kind of see the enemy doesn't really have what it takes to stop me. The Greenskins' entire army has been routed. And so now we're going to, oh, that's right, we're going to focus on Grombrindle because he has now been isolated, so we're going to charge down into him with the Royal Hippogriff Knights, with King Lewan. We're also casting Standing Ground, Lion Shield, and I guess that's it. I thought I cast Harmonic Convergence. There we go. Harmonic Convergence on a Royal Hippogriff Knights, and we're going to take down Grombrindle pretty quickly because he is just overwhelmed by so much armor-piercing damage from King Lewan and the Hippogriff Knights. Meanwhile, our Knights are out here chasing what units did come back from routing, rerouting them, and yeah, so that is going to be a GG for Bretonia. That worked out so well. You can see our infantry didn't even really get to engage that much. I threw them in here and there to just stop and run interference on enemy infantry so that we can free up our flying force. But there wasn't really a hard engagement for me because the enemy was fighting each other. Their vanguard forces behind me were fighting each other, so I just kind of came in and cleaned up. Chaos and Dwarves were fighting by the time that my entire army got there, so I just kind of sat back, cast spells, did our Peasant Bowman fire, and just sniped targets with the flying force because that's what the flying force does. That is Bretonia's greatest strength, is in their air force. At least that's what I think. And, I mean, they have great land-based knights, too, don't get me wrong. Look at all the kills that the land-based knights got, too. But I love their air force. It's just very unique. That's the strongest air force in the game. King Lewan is such a beast. And you can see that the Damsel of Heaven's got 84 kills with those 2 wind spells. She did some melee attacks against goblins earlier on. But for the most part, I kind of kept her back in casting spells. And, yeah, that just worked out really well. So good game to Larry the Impaler, Herjajuti, and Perrin Wolfbeam. Let's see, Warzag did 123 kills with those 2-footed Gorks, which is pretty good. Dwarves, Grombrindle netted 50 kills, but they kind of got sandwiched. They had to fight Greenskins, me, and the Warriors of Chaos just because of how everyone deployed. So they got sandwiched in between me, Chaos. Like, it was pretty bad for them. Speaking of Chaos, how did they fare? 46 kills on Kolek. The Chaos Warriors are pretty good. The Chosen, they probably wanted them to do a little bit better, considering how much they cost. And these Dragon Ogres, they got out of position for just a split second, and that's all the time it needs for the Bretonian Air Force to descend and just destroy you. And that's exactly what we did. That's why Bretonia's Air Force is just #1. Love it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody. Let's go watch the cinematic view. I'm really excited to play all the new free-for-all maps. Like I said, there are now a lot instead of just the 3 that came with the game. Now we're all basically kind of like the same map. It seemed like these actually have variants too. They're not just a bunch of circles. Because I gotta admit, the original free-for-all maps kind of felt a little uninspired, let's say. I love the capes of the ranger units, especially the Bugman's Rangers. Beautiful knights!
Charge! Put them! Smite them! I honor my vow! At once! Glory to Bretonnian! The lady wills it!
Ooh.
Wreck them!
It's a lot of dead spiders.
Swiftly! Destroy them! Immediately! Understood! Swiftly! Run, men! Quickly, lads! Slay them! Charge! Bretonnians, attack! Knock them out! Very well! Attack! Okay, riding out with speed at once to my banner. Full tilt! Post haste! The lady protects me. Hastily!
And we just get out and let the dwarves and chaos duke it out for a bit.
Quickly now! Swiftly! Full tilt! Okay.
So many colors in this map, in this matchup. I like it.
By the lady! Cut them down! Now! Advance! For glory! Remember your vow! Lance is ready! Glory awaits! We obey!
another charge.
Honor the lady! Run, men! At once!
My lady!
Woo! Love that spell.
Bretonnian! This
Get in there,
is my
peasants!
realm.
Protect your king!
Ride to glory! With all haste!
I should say die for your king, because they're not gonna have a good day here.
Apace! Quickly now! Run!
Oh, he got hit by infantry to the get! Oh, I feel bad, because then I swiped it. He got pinned in place, and then I murdered him. I missed that part.
Well, we serve! Backing up! At once!
Jesus. God, that foot of Gork spell. So beautiful.
I am king here! For the lady! Run, men! Glory to Bretonnian! At once! Run, men! For Bretonia! The lady wills it! Cleanse our land! Clear out!
That was his thunder spell there, trying to get my
Now,
peasant bowman.
Swiftly! We serve! To war! Shift it! Back march! Attack! Immediately! Run! We obey! Post haste! Post haste!
You beautiful peasants.
Join your better! Run! Moving a base! Oh, Our Lady! I shall prevail! For honor! With speed! Come on, lads! Cleanse our land! Run! On to glory! Shift it! I honor my bow! For the lady! For the lady! With haste! Cut them down! This is my rear! Burn it! Very well! The lady wills it! Quickly, lads! Slay them!
God, I can't even secret arm runner with all the wings.
Run, men! On to glory!
I don't think there's really any other fighting happening right now.
For the lady!
Just knights kind of cleaning things up.
Down. Run them through! Quickly, lads! Quickly! Serve and obey! Doing your bidding! Bretonnia!
Bretonnian, one of my favorite factions.
Advance! With all haste! Run, men! Attack! Moving a base! 'Tis done! Lances ready!
And there we go. Hope you enjoyed the Bretonnians, my friends. I will see you all next time. Take care.